All right, guys, how are you doing? It is Jerome Parker, aka Master Shake, and today we are doing part 2 of creating a point of sales app with Laravel, Vue, and Stripe. So for those of you who have not seen part 1, perhaps you should go visit part 1 since the vast majority of functionality is already complete and we're just doing some extra features. So if you haven't, I support you coming to the live stream, but maybe you should go to the first one, or maybe you might just want to download the source code from GitHub and then just follow along. It is completely up to you. Now, before we get started, if you haven't already, please head over to my website, jeromeparker.com. I am selling a new ebook. It's actually my first ebook, From Noobs to Artists, and it's full stack web development with Laravel and vue.js, much like what I'm doing right now. And it's building 3 full stack progressive web apps using those technologies. It'll get you ready to enter the job market, or if you're the entrepreneurial type and want to just create your own application, you'll be ready to do so. If you haven't already, stop what you're doing, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share on social media. It's not that hard, guys, and you're helping me out a lot. So, what are we doing today? So, in part 1, I walked you guys through creating this point of sales app using Laravel, vue.js, and the Stripe PHP SDK. So basically what we could do is we could put in an amount we want to charge. We put the email, receipt, the description, the card number, expiration date, CVC. So I'll just do another test run. So let's say $100. I'm gonna send it to myself, jerome.parker@gmail.com. Credit card description, test, charge for live stream. And then we're gonna put in the Stripe test number, which is 4242, 4242, 4242, 4242. Expiration date, January 2020. 123 is the CVC. Hit pay now. Uh-oh. Something went wrong. Let me see. I literally, right before the stream, put this up on the cloud, so there's probably some environment variables that are messed up. We'll figure it out. Hit that again. Oh, off. That's a simple fix. Let me go into the cloud server and run the passport install. Yes, I'm sure. And then we have the PHP artisan passport install. All right. Let's try this now. Success. Awesome. So let's head over here. Let's go to home. And you see today made $100, of which $96.80 will be available in 2 days. All right. So in today's functionality, what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 basic functions, and if we have time, we'll add in a 3rd one. If not, I'll have to just make a part 3 because I don't want to be up all night streaming. So basically, one thing I want to do is we want to be able to send invoices. So we might not have the person's phone number, or not phone number, credit card number or whatnot. So we want to send them an email, and they'll be able to pay their invoice. And then the second thing that we want to do is be able to put people on a subscription plan. So that's the 2 things. Oh, I said 3 things. the third thing that we want to do is do webhooks. And I should have said there was 4 things I want to do. The fourth thing was being, I want to add a manifest.json file so that we'll be able to access a lot of this functionality offline and do push notifications, etc., etc. So the first thing we're going to do is implement webhooks, since that's literally the easiest thing to do. So what are webhooks? Actually, let's do subscriptions first, because right now we know if we get a new charge. So doing a webhook when we just have that functionality would actually be very redundant. So I apologize. Let's go back. We're going to do subscriptions first. Or invoices. Subscriptions, invoices. Let's do invoices. I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. Let's do invoices first. That just seems like the next logical progression from what we already have completed. So ignore that rambling for the last 30 seconds. We're going to do invoices. So, you know, there's probably going to come a time where you're going to have to send an invoice, whether, you know, for me, I do websites for people, I write apps, I do consultations. So I just send them an email invoice and they can pay it themselves. And I do use Stripe. So basically, how I do it is I send them an email. It tells them how much that they have to pay, and then it takes them to. It takes them to a page. They can put in their default payment and pay. But what I want to do tonight is something that's a little different. I actually want to work with the web payment API. So there's a new API to simplify checkout forms, and you can use default payment methods, etc., that you have saved on your Google or iOS device, and it simplifies a lot of coding. So we're going to work with that. But before we get into that, the first thing we need to do is create a new route where we can put the person's name, their email, a description of what they're being charged for, and a total amount that they're being charged for. It sends them an email. In this email, it tells them, hi, how you doing? This is the description. This is the pay now button. This is how much you owe. Keep it simple. When they click that, it goes to a page, brings out the checkout form. They select their payment, they pay. It sends them a receipt, and the receipt should come automatically from Stripe. So there you go. We don't have to worry about that part. In order to do that, the first thing we're going to have to do is make a new model, put it in the database. So we're going to go ahead, let me expand this, make this bigger. All right. Let me mute this. Sorry. Making too much noise. All right, so what we're going to do here is create a new model, and we're going to call this model invoice, and it's going to have those attributes that I described earlier. So we're going to PHP artisan make model -m, so because it'll make the migration for us, invoice. Alright, so do a get status. We see it created a invoice model, and it created a invoices table migration. I'm gonna do a get add here. Create invoice model and migration. Let's head over to Atom. Let's head over to the database, head over to migrations, head over to oh man, I totally put that. I forgot that I'm on the live server. I did not mean to do that. All right, git push. All right, that's bad practice. Don't ever work on the production server. The production server should never, ever be worked on. You should always just pull from master on production. That should be it. All right, git pull. Oh. All right, cool. Now let's try this again. All right, so we have this create invoices table. And so, like I said, we're gonna have a name. We're gonna have a long text that's gonna hold a description. We're gonna have integer, and we're gonna make this integer because we're gonna store the value in cents. So we'll just times whatever's put into the amount field by 100. So we got email table string. We need the email address. Something else we need is the charge ID. This is going to be the ID that comes back from the charge when we do a Stripe transaction. And this can also serve as a receipt, if you will. But we can search by charge ID in Stripe if something goes awry. And let's see. And I guess we need a Boolean. Is paid. All right, I think that's everything. Name, description, amount, email, charge ID is paid. Let's go ahead and save that. And then let's check out the model. We'll have a protected, fillable, name, amount, email, description. Charge ID. And oh, this is going to be a notifiable. This will be a notifiable model because we'll send out emails. And this will just simplify everything for us. Just use the built-in notifications. Alright. And then where is routes? And we'll also need a page for our invoices. Actually, you know what? We'll just make it a component. We'll just make it a component. So let us make a controller. Let's make a resource controller for invoices. We're going to do PHP artisan make controller. We're going to pass in the resource flag. I'm going to have invoice controller. Let's see. We're going to return here in the index. We are, well, first let's import our invoice model. All right, there we go. And then we need to just do a invoice paginate 25, I guess is good. Actually, I'm not even gonna worry about pagination right now. I'm just gonna do all. Or let's do where is paid is true. And let's do a return response. We're gonna make this a JSON response, of course. And we're gonna do invoice. All right. In the store method, I'm not gonna work on any validation and stuff. You guys have seen my other videos. You know how to do validation. If not, Laravel has really good documentation. I was gonna leave this bare bones. We're just going to do invoice equals invoice create name actually we're going to take this super lazy way. Request all. And let's make this, let's make this event driven. So instead of doing the notification right here, do the notification inside of the model, which I have to look at the documentation real quick for that, but that'll be fine. It's no biggie. All right, so let's just do a return. Response, JSON, invoice, and then update. I don't even know I'm gonna use this update feature, but I'm just gonna make it a delete, add and delete type of thing. But in either case, we're going to do find or fail based off the ID, and then invoice fill request all, save, and then do the same thing, return response, that being JSON, your invoice and your invoice. And then finally, we're gonna do the destroy, and we're just gonna do a return response. It's gonna be a JSON, and then we're gonna call success, and we're gonna do invoice delete ID. Maybe I have to call, I might, I'm just gonna do find or fail ID. I think that's what I need to do. So this is gonna return true or false if it deletes. Now, as soon as the invoice is created, I wanted to send an event, and this event is or send a notification rather. You know, actually, I'm doing the most. I'm just gonna do it here. Let's create a new notification, and this is invoice created. Okay. So when the invoice created, emails the person. So to do this, we're gonna do, I'm just gonna make it bigger. PHP artisan make notification invoice created. Alright, so create the notification. That's good. Let's go here, notifications. We're just gonna keep it mail right now. So this mail message object has a lot of functions, one of them being subject. So I'm gonna add a subject. Is you have a new invoice due. All right, let's say something. Say something. I don't know. pay now or suffer the consequences. And then let's see, we got a notification action. So let's call this one pay up. Pay up. And this is going to be slash invoice slash pay slash dot notifiable ID. Cool. And then we can just leave that. Thank you for using the application part. And then here in the invoice controller, on the store, we need to do invoice notify new slash app slash notes http slash notification slash invoice created. Oh, just app notifications, I'm sure. Alright. So that should work. Now we need to create a function for paying the invoice. You know what? We'll do that in a second. First thing let's do is go to routes API.php. I'm gonna make this middleware auth API resource invoice and make this the invoice controller. That should be that. As far as that part of the invoice controller, the invoice part is done anyway. Now let us go over to the resources folder. Let's go to our assets, go to our JavaScript, go to our components, go to our charge component. And basically we want to duplicate this and call it invoice component. Manage invoices. The word amount. Let's make this case sensitive. Replace the word amount with the word name. And then to make the capital amount, make that name. And then email is fine, description is fine, card number needs to equal oh man, I just realized something. Should have kept that. I should have kept name right there, I think. Or amount rather. One group. Sorry, just gotta undo. Alright, cool. Got to make a charge. Alright, the amount, name, email, description. I think that's everything. So I can get rid of this phone group, that phone group, and create charge. We'll make that create invoice. Alright, so instead of card, we got name. We got create invoice. Alright, so then after we post to the invoice, we need to push to invoices. Do the created function. Oh, we need to make let's see this this axios dot get slash invoice dot then function, get this data, that dot invoices equals data dot invoices, and this is from the API we just created, and that should be that. Here in the vue.component equals invoice component require home. And put voice. We're gonna watch poll real quick, get this set up, and we can test it out. Alright, while it does that, I'll take some time. Alright. Oh, I forgot to do gotta do a comma. There we go. Starting over. Alright. So let us refresh the page. Oh, well, that makes sense. POS.app or POS. Oh, yeah. Crap, forgot about that. I forgot to reset the virtual machine. I'm just gonna push this up. I know it's bad practice, but invoice logic. Push. All right. That's deploying right now. Gotta look continuous integration. All right, that's done. All right, let me do. Hopefully it caught the updates in the JavaScript. Sometimes it be doing that. I don't know why. I have to go in. Alright, now when it comes up, S is not defined. I hate when stuff like that happens. It's little weird typos. Now I gotta do it. You know what? Alright, so let me just do this real quick. We're gonna call this POS.test. And programs point of sale. And we're gonna call this POS. And then we're gonna do a vagrant provision. Actually, before we do that, we're gonna do sudo nano /etc/host. And we're gonna add pos.test, and then we're gonna do vagrant provision. And while that's running, in the meantime, because that's gonna take forever, we're gonna stage all this, fix stupid typo error, commit, and we're gonna push. That's in deployment, it's deploying. Active. Let's see. All right. That should say make a invoice or whatever. Amount to charge, name to charge, email receipt, credit card description. All right. So $150. $150. Oh yeah, this isn't gonna work right now, is it? Let me see. This probably isn't. Let me see. I got an email somewhere, configuration somewhere I could already use. Yeah, let's do this one. Sorry guys, should have took care of all this before. All right, there we go. All right, so name the charge. Okay, why is this typing? Oh man, I made that a number, didn't I? Oh well. I'm really tired. All right, yeah, I'm probably gonna end up breaking this into a part 3 after we finish this because I'm really tired. This is a test. All right, so the stats 100. Kind of expected that. Query exception, column not found, unknown column name. Name, amount, description. Alright, well this is a perfect chance actually to go ahead and just fix. Max equals 10. Alright, and then we got where's the invoice of PHP? Okay, we got name. Alright, cool. this real quick. Alright, so now we can just do everything right here. The cool thing is now we can just use mail hog. Which I need to look up actually. Mail hog. That's going to be POS dot. Awesome. So it's mail hog. So we can just do all of our test emails right here in the local environment. And I'm just gonna do vagrant SSH, get back into the virtual machine. Make sure I get this right. Actually, I'm tripping. I can just do this. All right, let's stop it in. All right, so this should suffice. All right, amount to charge 150, name to charge Jerome Parker, Jerome.Parker@gmail.com. This is a test. All right, still says it failed with 500. We're gonna see why. General error, field email doesn't have a default value. Did I not? I didn't put it in the email. Let's close that. All right. No, I didn't. All right, let's save that. All right, now we can refresh. All right, we're on. Charge ID doesn't have a default value. Oh, oops, that does need to have a default value. It does need to have a default value. I guess I could just make a new migration. Let's create a new migration where I'm just gonna make a notable. Any day now. Okay, goodness gracious. Alright, PHP artists and migrate. Oops. I gotta install the DB alter library. Alright. Composer required. Doctrine / debug. PHP artists and migrate. Just let that run. Grab a drink of water. Alright, so it's updating its dependencies. Because I called the change method in my migration, I have to use another library called DB alter. In my opinion, it should just be installed automatically. Alright, so it looks like it's finished installing. Now it's writing the lock file. Then afterward, it should just run the migration and be ready to go. success. So we have a mail hog. Boom. We have a new invoice due. Hello, pay now or suffer the consequences. All right, cool. So we have our invoices. Now the last thing we need to do for tonight, and then I'm gonna call it quits, and I have to finish up on Monday. But last thing we're gonna do is when they click this, it will take them to a page where they will be using the web payment API to pay invoice. So right now, text them to a page says it's not, can't find it. All right, so I'm gonna copy. Let's duplicate the invoice component. And call it the invoice pay component. Invoice. All right. What's going on? There we go. Okay, what's going on with my keyboard? Are you guys seeing this? Let me exit. was weird. All right, props. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pass in the invoice from the back end instead of calling it from an API call. So we're gonna use a property for that. We need to do get pay invoice into the ID, term, view, invoice, width, and we're going to pass in the object, invoice, find or fail ID. back here, we're going to hit refresh. And define use. Oh. Unexpected token. I've ran into this issue before. What did I have to do? Alright, so the issue is that the JSON, I hate this mouse with a passion. The JSON for this object is not reading correctly. This mouse isn't working. Hold on. Alright, much better. Let's go, okay. I'm going to do a JSON.stringify. Try that. Max actually help him. Oh, okay, I was doing that right. Alright. 1.5. Well, that's alright, but I already fixed that issue. Alright, cool. Well, let's pull up the web payment API. So, the payment request API, rather, is what it's officially called. It allows you to make simple check forms using the web. So this is what it looks like, right? You have the order, you have the shipping, you have the card and whatnot, and it's just a simple form. So let's go in here. Basically, we just use a payment request. We just basically use a payment request object. The support methods. We got basic card. There's other kind of stuff you can do. Like I think you can do PayPal and a bunch of other stuff. But basic card is what you're going to use for like 90% of the time. With the payment details argument, you find the total and display items. And then you have an optional third argument as user requests additional information from the user. So their name, email address, phone number, etc., etc. So I'm gonna copy all this. I'm gonna paste it right up in here. And this value is gonna be this dot invoice dot amount divided by 100. This may not let me test on localhost. I might have to push it up to the cloud server. So first you gotta do it over HTTPS. And then we need to this dot payment request equals request equals null, and then this dot payment request dot show dot then function data. We're gonna console.log the data real quick. Dot what was it? Dot else? That catch function error, and then we're gonna console.log the error. And basically, ideally, what we're going to do is that we're going to take that data that they pass back and we're going to pass it to our API so that Stripe can tokenize it and use it for a charge. All right, that should be done. Go ahead and refresh this. All right, got a error. Must be in a secure context. All right, that's what I thought. Let me push this up to the cloud. All right, now could not find column name. see something. Okay. I'm going to there is no table name. There is no column on table. All right, looks like I'm going to have to looks like I'm gonna have to reset the database on here. I really messed it up. All right, now I'm gonna have to try this one more time. All right, success. Cool. Now let's go to go to my Gmail. All right, so hit pay up. Bam. And as you can see, it brings up the like your list of cards, right? That your list, your total order summary, payment. You can choose different payment. You can add a card if you need to. Hit pay. Enter the CVC. I'm not gonna add a card in front of y'all. Let's see. Do I even have these cards anymore? These look like they're old cards. I might just have to just switch the screen. Yeah, let me switch the screen for a second. cool. Let me just add this in here real quick. All right, cool. Got that. I got display. All right, so 140. Hit confirm. For this little processing. Then you get a payment response. You get the details of the card. I'm not going to show you the details of the card, but you get all the details of the card. So when you get this payment, you get this payment card, right? And you can basically, you get all the fields that you need, and you can take that and pass it into Stripe. So let's see if it shows you the object here. And let's see. Oh, there we go. So here you get so that's the address. We don't need the address. I'm trying to find a version of the data object I can show you without showing you all of my debit card details. Okay, well, looks like it's not gonna let me. But I mean, if you play around and if you look at the code, you can see. All right, so long story short, what we're going to do here, we're going to do an Axios call. And we're going to do /API/invoice/pay/ invoice.id. Actually, I just need the data, but then function. Success. So in this API /API/invoice/pay/ID, I'm going to do invoice controller at pay invoice. So I'm just going to copy all this right here. There we go. And then last but not least, I need to do my little constructor. So yeah, let me just grab the whole constructor, just make things simpler. In the future, I don't know what I may need with this. Alright, so we're going to request dot. Here, and we'll change it back while I grab these details. Expiring month. Give me one moment. Card security code. All right, cool. So good news, it doesn't check. So I could just put in the test card for Stripe. Now, what I have noticed is that this is showing up right on right when the page loads, which is not what we want to happen. So let me go to invoice pay. We want this to be this dot invoice dot description. Unexpected token. Module 61. Function data. Oh, that's okay. There was a syntax error. Gotcha. All right, cool. That should be pushed. We're going to refresh the page. Awesome. Now if we hit that, we have the 4242, hit pay. 1, 2, 3, confirm. All right, now we see that this had an error code of 500 that we can work with. Undefined variable request. Undefined index card number. It should be card number. Alright, so what's happening here? Let's see, we got a request. Wow, I didn't return the complete. Oops. Okay. Oh, that was totally bad English, but whatever. Alrighty, so let's go back here. Oh, I'm sorry, right here rather. Set success, timed out, yada yada. We're gonna pay, we're gonna pay, we're gonna pay. It's done yet? Alright. Well, let's refresh. Error code parameter invalid integer. Test amount. Param amount. Okay, so I gave the wrong amount. Oh. Well, I can see how that would have worked out. Look at this. just realized no wonder that wasn't working. That just needs to be data. Alright, so that did go through. Before we can do anything else, that needs to be invoice charge ID. To make the invoice is paid equals true. All right, so we definitely are going to have to make this a part 3, but after testing this should be all that's left. And we hit this refresh. So okay, 1, 2, 3, confirm. It's still showing payment response. Still showing payment response. Like, did I not say that? For some reason, it's still showing payment response. Oh well, I know it's not payment response. So anyway, let's go back to the Stripe dashboard, and you see it's at like $700. Payments 150, 150, 150, 150. So that's pretty much how you send it from invoices. All the code is updated. What we'll do on Monday, because I'm way past the streaming time that I want it to be. So on Monday we'll do part 3, where we'll work on subscriptions. So if you haven't download the code for my GitHub, it's mastershake08 or github.com/mastershake08/Laravel-vue-POS. Once again, guys, thank you everybody. Head over to my website, jeromeparker.com. Check out my ebook. Support the channel if you want to donate. Donations instructions are at the bottom, and we will see you tomorrow on our Tech Talk.